Hey, awesome ones.
Hey, awesome ones.
Bill and I are kind of pretending that we're going to a potluck dinner. And,
I love potluck dinners.
And it's potluck. Not those other kind of pot. Anyway, if you know what I mean. But anyway, whatever happened to potluck dinners?
I don't know. I'm getting hungry just thinking about them.
That's for sure. Well, you know what? We do put on potluck dinners, and we can invite like 50 people over to our home, and they're all over the place.
That's a lot of potato salad.
And we want to talk about this because it's a great way to get people together, and I'm going to tell you about it. And also, if you don't have a dish, we'll tell you something to bring as well. Let's get into it. So, Bill, do you remember in our younger days, we used to, you see, like your friends were the most important thing. You know, you had to see your friends, and every weekend you had to see your friends, and then kind of jobs and
family,
kids and all that sort of thing. I don't know, it just kind of got it all muddled up. But you know what, Bill?
What?
It's time to see our friends again. And we've been very fortunate because I've kept in touch with, a girlfriend that I've known since I was 6 years old, and another one, more than one, that in my teenage years. And Bill, how many friends have you kept in touch with?
I don't have any friends. My only friend is a buck. The more bucks I have, the more friends I have.
That's Fred Flintstone he's quoting there. But anyway, no, but I mean, you must have about a dozen friends from grade school and high school.
Yeah, to me, this was the best way to keep people together throughout the decades, was the potluck.
Yeah, and the thing is that we'll have these potluck dinners, and dinners, I mean, they start about 1 o'clock and they go until 1 o'clock in the morning. But what we usually do is we say to somebody, hey, we're having a potluck dinner, and just bring whatever you want to bring. And some of your single guys are like, huh? I get the feeling over the phone, or you do too, that they might not even show up. So I just say, hey, bring a bag of chips. It doesn't really matter, but nobody's ever bought a bag of chips.
A box of donuts, Well,
the funniest thing, I was invited to a potluck dinner, and this guy walks in, and usually you see, the single, and some single guys are great cooks, like don't comment about that, because I know. But some of these guys are just, they don't know what to bring, so they bring a bucket of chicken. Great, that's wonderful. But I remember this one guy, I was at a potluck, and he dumped 20 cheeseburgers from a fast food place on the table, just dumped them, and they all went. They were all eaten in no time. So, going to a potluck dinner, and hey, I don't know. I remember when I first mentioned to you, let's have a potluck dinner, you kind of felt awkward.
I felt awkward because I thought, nobody's going to want to, especially the guys, nobody's going to want to have to make anything. And it almost seems like in this day and age, Heather mentioned it earlier, people just want to come and, it's catered. You've provided all the food.
Yeah, but that's what you thought.
That's what I thought.
That's what he thought. He thought, no, Heather, we have to cater. Or, no, let's just take people out for dinner. And I'm thinking to myself, well, okay, we've got about 30 to 40 people that we want to see this summer. How are we going to do that? And, monetarily, it just doesn't make sense to... And we're not trying to be something we're not either. We don't need to do that. So... it's just amazing. You put on these potluck dinner and pretty well everybody shows up.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful. So what do you do if you're the person putting on the potluck dinner? Well,
you clean for 2 days.
And nights. But hey, we downsized. We have a really small place here compared to what we used to have. But I'm going to show you some pictures here. First of all, I lay out a table where everybody can kind of drop the food. There's usually even more than one location for that. Also, I've got a cool little tiki bar that I make up, and I've got the blender there, and I can make, I make pina coladas for everybody. I'm making strawberry daiquiris and all that sort of thing, and back to us again. yes, as the host and hostess, you've got to make sure that, hey, you've got some liquor, and I usually make a lasagna and Caesar salad. So
the basics.
Yeah, so, if nobody brings a dish for eating, then we're covered with that. Ice. We always run out of ice. That's a big one. If somebody says, I don't know what to bring, have them bring ice. For sure you're going to need it. Everybody seems to want a pina colada and a strawberry daiquiri. Also have some items on hand for the designated drivers. You can make them virgin drinks, but also some pop and lots of water. And a lot of people bring desserts, so Mr. Coffee Guy, he's usually making lots of French press coffees in various containers. But the one thing that I love is that it seems that people bring their signature dish. Don't you find that?
I have found that. That's really true.
Yeah.
Really true.
And if they have maybe a peanut allergy or they need something gluten-free, you don't need to worry about that. They've got it all covered. And, we shouldn't have done this before we were eating dinner in this video, because it's so mouth-watering thinking about, like a lot of people are bringing their signature dishes from their countries of origin.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And some of them are spicy, but it's just so delicious. The smorgasbord of food is just so wonderful.
That's what I love. It's just finding these, as Heather mentioned, these dishes that maybe aren't local to your area, and they're just, amazing.
And it's when I'm invited to a potluck dinner, generally what I do is I either hand make the meatballs and cook them up and make a kind of a sweet and sour type of, what do you call those things, those meatballs? They're
Good.
Sweet and sour meatballs. There's recipes online that you can find. Sometimes if I'm in too much of a hurry, hey, you can get the Swedish meatballs frozen, cook them up, and then you can even, in some cases, I know I buy this, the sweet and sour sauce strictly for those meatballs, and I throw it all in a crock pot, show up at the party with a bottle of wine and we're ready to go. But I did promise you that I'm going to show you a little recipe that anybody can make this recipe. So here I am in the kitchen, and I'm wearing this really wonderful little apron, and if you saw it's the One of a Kind show, I'll put it up there somewhere where they were selling these aprons and all kinds of neat things. But anyway, back to the video. I almost forgot to tell you that for the beer and the coolers, we put them in big buckets. And I mean, you're not going to, if you're going to put on a potluck dinner, you're going to be mingling and having fun. You're not going to be sitting there saying, would you like a drink? I'm going to make you. No. We're just going to do that. And I also have tomato juice and celery and all that sort of thing if they want to make themselves a Caesar or a Bloody Mary or something. But I've got these pots and all kinds of things all laid out all over the place. We even have, and I'll show you a little picture here, a smoking section in our backyard for the people who want to smoke. We've even got that covered there. So at our potlucks, they're in the kitchen, they're out in the living room, they're on the deck, everywhere. Just mingle, meet our wonderful friends, and it's lots of fun. But I promised you a recipe, didn't I? So let's do this. Gotta be like one of the most simplest recipes in the world. I've got a couple here, hold on. I've got a couple of different kinds of salsas, and this is just a nachos and salsa kind of thing, but it goes over very, very well, and I've never been to a party yet where I've made it and it hasn't been empty on the way home. So basically, I've just got a nice clean plate here, and I just sort of, wait till you see this, you're gonna go, Heather, I just dump the salsa in there. Now if you want to get fancy, yes, there's some lovely kind of homemade ones or whatever you can get at stores as well, but I just do the medium salsa and dump that in there. And then what I do is I get some sour cream, and like I said, medium or mild. You don't want them too hot for people. And I just sort of drop this on here. And Bill, maybe you can get a little, you don't want to, get a little close-up of that, Bill. You don't want to have it all in one place because it's just going to sink right down to the bottom. And I'm using a glass dish here. You could use an aluminum one, or go to the dollar store and make maybe get something there. Now for this, I'm not going to add any guacamole. Once again, you can get you can get the guacamole from the store. Sorry about that noise there, but so that works. Now also what I did was I just grated some cheese. This is an old cheese, so it's got a little bit of tartness to it. So, and again, I'm just kind of dropping that on there. And as I mentioned before, or maybe I'll mention it later, you can also buy the grated cheese already grated. I mean, how wonderful is that? So let's just get this on here. Might not have made enough cheese for this, but usually what I would do is I would cover every little inch of it so that it's all cheesy. So I apologize. It might not happen with this go round, but don't sweat it. People are just happy that you brought something, so it's okay. There we go. All right, and so also I've just chopped up just a green onion, and my hands are clean here, so I'm just going to sprinkle that on top there as well. I like to make this the day before. That way it kind of settles in the fridge and it gets really nicely put together. And ta-da! I'm done. I just have to cover that with some aluminum foil. I like the little scoops nachos that they have out right now. So a lot of times these are multi-grain. I'll get the scoops, but if I want to be really fancy, I'll get maybe, the ones that are like the restaurant style and they have purple and red, and if I want to be fancy, I'll do something along those lines. And so it's a good idea to go to the dollar store too and maybe get a little bit of a big bowl so that you can put those out as well. So sometimes I don't even have time to even come home. Maybe Bill and I are somewhere and it's just too busy, and the choice is, do we miss the party or do we just kind of get her done? And so what we do is we go to the grocery store and we buy everything. We buy the onions and we buy the sour cream. We get maybe one of those aluminum tins, to make it all in, and the salsa. And that cheese, you can get that grated in a bag as well. So just bring it all to the party. Say, hey, we're here. We're a little bit late, but give me 5 minutes and I'm going to make up my dish, and away you go. It's done and you're having fun at the party. So there you go. There you have it. It's easy peasy. Another thing I want to mention to you is take a cab. If you're going to one of these get-togethers, you're going to be there from 1 o'clock until 1 o'clock. It's a good idea to take a cab or have a designated driver. Please do that. Please stay safe. We just love you here as our subscribers. And also, kind of just as a courtesy, don't forget to bring what you're drinking. And talking about not forgetting something, who have we forgotten? Our little Hurricane. Hey Hurricane, how are you? Yeah. And one thing about little Hurricane when we have get-togethers is... he
gets terrified. I mean, he's so tiny, he's so small, and there's so many people in a confined area that he just has to go to a spot where he feels protected, or he comes to us, myself or Heather will pick him up so that he's safe.
Hey, let me just say something here. We always invite our adult children to our parties because we'll just say, hey, Shannon, oh, can you just hold on to Hurricane for a little while? And, you know, that way we can go ahead and enjoy and mingle with our friends. And they kind of are onto it anyway. They know why they're invited.
Oh, yeah. Well, they love Hurricane too, so.
Yeah. And you know what, we also want to make sure that all of you sort of take a cue from this, because you don't want to lose your dog out a front door or a cat or anything like that. And we don't want to put him in a kennel. He doesn't like kennels.
Or a cage or
something.
Yeah,
we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So, and hey, if you have a signature dish that you want to share with, just put it in the comments.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah. He just loves food, and me too. And tell us what your signature dish would be that you would take to a potluck dinner. And you know, we usually, hey Hurricane, we usually talk about how most days are, well, many days are just made for playing. And we actually do plan our fun, and we put it in seasons. I'm going to actually put that video up there, because planning for fun is such a great thing to do. And you know, time sometimes is not on our side, and we only have so many summers. And you know, remember your precious friends, and this is a great way to do something. I am so relaxed at these potluck
She is. She's very relaxed.
I mean, when I put on another kind of party, I'm just like, even the Thanksgiving dinners for like 11, or my own family, I'm just like a little busy bee all over the place. At these things, I really relax, so they're just a wonderful thing to do.
Sorry, Heather. It's a great social. It really, for the hosts, for the guests, everybody.
Absolutely. So keep it stress-free, folks.
And what about we do some videos on Tuesday?
Oh, right.
She almost forgot.
Almost forgot. So on Tuesday afternoons, we do these kind of lifestyle ones.
Correct.
We're going to do food. We're talking to chefs now, and travel, etc. On Fridays, you know, I was a former model, so I'm doing some beauty and fashion and all that sort of thing. And you're even going to do some more fashion as well.
Yeah.
Why not? You know,
Why not?
we're having a ball with this. This is lots and lots of fun. So if you want to come down and subscribe, there's a button down there. Just press it. Be happy. Be with your friends. Some days are just made for playing, and keep it awesome.
Keep it awesome.
Everyone's invited to subscribe and join us on our videos.